I'm not going to lie, I've hardly played as the USSR in Gates of Hell Ostfront. I usually play as the US or Germany. So I thought, why not do a hardcore Conquest as the USSR and make it as a semi-guide series sort of thing. So this is what that is. It doesn't include historical documents or anything like that. It's just gameplay and me giving tips throughout. Hope you enjoy. I'm using only two mods on this playthrough, the BM Blood mod and the Wobble Sounds, which is a sound mod, which is real nice. I'm playing this on hardcore difficulty, and I'm going to put the economy on high, and the operation size is going to be large. And Fog of War is of course going to be kept on. And yes, USSR versus Germany. Here we go. All the cards loading in, and I'm just going to dive straight into the research tree. I'll unlock calling stage 2 because I'll need it for this battle or the next. And now I need to decide on the infantry I want to use, and I've heard the assault engineers are good, and I think they've got that body armor, so I'm going to head in that direction. But this is the most confusing research tree I've ever seen. And I have no idea how to get there, so I'm just going to take a guess and start unlocking things. I'm also going to try and unlock the BS3 as quickly as I can to just deal with German armour. So I'll begin unlocking anti-tank guns. I'm all spent up on research points, so it's time to build my unit. As I'm playing the USSR, I'm gonna go infantry heavy, so my mainline infantry to begin with is going to be the Rifle Squad 1943. They have quite a low HP with 200, but I'm going to get 3 of those, plus a Commissar, because he has the binoculars. Then I'm going to grab 2 conscript rifle squads, just to use them as fodder, really. Then I'll grab a medic. Then I'm going to grab a 45mm M37 to deal with any vehicles or tanks. I'll get a tank crew to repair stuff and a couple of boxes of ammo. Right, it's time to go. Let's get into the battle. The force has arrived. So first things first, I'm going to assign my squads with shift and then the number key. So my main squads are going to be 1, 2, 3, and then my conscripts are going to be 4 and 5. I find it really easy to micro troops this way. Then I'll begin moving my troops up and moving the Commissar Kornai. I think that's how you say his name, pronounce it, because he has the binoculars. I'll put this scout on return fire, so he doesn't just open up at the first thing he sees. And I'll just begin slowly moving squads up. I'll sometimes jump into first person to just look at the terrain, because you get a much better view when you're actually on the ground. So I can see if my guys are actually in cover. Everyone's shouting, so we must have seen something. I'll just keep creeping my scouts up, plus using my binoculars with my Commissar officer. I'm just using the attack ground key, which I have remapped to tab, so I don't have to move my hand or anything. I can just hear a vehicle moving up, see it, knocking down. So I pause the game, which is something I've started doing recently, so I can just quickly react, but you can't give orders when you're pausing the game in Conquest, and I don't really know why. So I'll just decide what I need to do, and then I'll unpause the game, then give the order. But I just feel like I can react and actually think without that tank just being on top of my infantry. So I decide to smoke the area, and then I have a bit of a mare with my commissar, and I 100% did give him an order. I did select him and click away, but for some reason it didn't register or something. Yeah, like I definitely selected that and gave an order there, but oh well. So I grab my 45 and try get him in position to take out this Panzer. I end up microing him backwards just to get him in a better position. Sometimes you got to do that with the guns. I think it helps. And he's back in, and he can see him through the smoke. And then I realise my medic's just staring the tank down, so I get him out of there. And that's that. Nice work, everyone. And then I get my tank crew to go and repair it, and then we can use it in the battle. Once again, jumping into first person. And you can also give orders with the middle mouse button. Yeah, this just really helps, because you can see the railway embankment there, and I know I'm in cover. Just start to see something on the map. So I begin to react. And then tell first squad to move up to begin firing on them and deal with them. My 45 shooting on them as well. That's the BM blood mod right there. Nice. I tell my conscripts to sprint to the other side of the runway, and then begin moving my units up, my supporting units, into better positions, as well as my infantry squads. Just always trying to keep one guy or a couple of guys forward, just scouting ahead, because it extends the sight lines of your support units, and you can react when you've got more time. So second squad has joined the conscripts in the woods on the other side of the runway. My 45 is shooting into the point, which is lovely. Got my medic over there helping out. .7 centimeter has been revealed. So I pull my infantry back, because one of those, if it's well placed, could take out a bunch of my guys, so it's not worth it. So I pull them back, and then I'll deal with it another way. So I know I need to attack it from the other side, and luckily I've already moved my squads around that way. So I begin moving first squad along the shoreline of the river, as it's a covered approach to the objective. My squad's on the right. They're just chilling out on the backside of the hill, which is a good jumping into first person because the enemy has to come up, check out the cover, and then giving orders with that middle mouse. 20 guys. What a nice feature with rifles pointing right at. It's like Band of Brothers. Not Band of Brothers, Brothers in Arms. What a great game. I want to play that again, actually. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to play Brothers in Arms like Hell's Highway. That was a good one. We've got third squad in support of first squad on this flank, so it should be a success. Very nice hit by the 45. Just throwing rounds into the point, which is what you want. They're suppressing, distracting the enemy as I'm creeping up with these other squads. They've got no idea they're there. So I'll smoke the point so they can get even further in without being seen, and then grenade, and then let the rifles do the work. Creeping up my support elements. That's the end of the 4.7 centimeter. Continue creeping them in. Third squad, push them up. Look at that bloody scene on the point. Stealing with them quite easily with the rifles. This is probably one of the best things I've ever captured, I think. Out of nowhere. Wow. The BM Blood mod. That gore mod is the best thing in the world. That was... what a scene that was. Only in this game, only with that mod. So now I pull my tank back because I don't want whatever hit my guy to hit my tank as well. And I decide to let my conscripts try to pull off a flank. My conscripts now running into action, rushing this gun. But they kill it with nades, and then that's the end of the gun. Pull them back. Nice little raid by the conscripts. Mess around with the pathing. Sometimes it does that. You give it an order and they like try to regroup, but run the opposite direction of where you've given the order. It's quite annoying, especially when they're getting shot at. Just consolidating my units, pulling everybody up to the line. I've taken the first point. Now I want to push out from the first point towards the next one. It's a bit of a firefight in the woods. Bring all my guys up. Still got another squad of conscripts hanging back as well. Don't even think I'll need them really. And now it's time to deal with the guys in these woods. I have overwhelming fire superiority, as I have pretty much all of my squads on the line. So I make short work of those infantry in the woods. Once again, it's just part of this game. You've just got to keep moving your support units up behind your main units, because you want all of your units firing on the point at the same time. What I find I do in this game sometimes is push too far with one unit and then they're on their own and it's only them attacking the point. I'll quickly take a look at the objective and find an approach. I once again want a left and right push. So I'll take this hill here and then I'll push up the river. Looks like the coast is clear, so I decide to let my squads grab some ammo before I push off to the next objective. And now I'll start just pushing my infantry up. And you guessed it, the support elements in range behind. That's what you're doing with your infantry. They are extending the sight lines of your support elements. They're working together. Here's a good example of that on the small scale. Fire and maneuver with two squads. One stops and shoots while the other moves up. But I do run into an AA gun on the point, which is not ideal. I'll pop some smokes and take a minute because I don't want to just lose these guys. I'll also begin creeping my other units up on the right. Let them get into the fight. Nothing stopping first squad this battle. So they're creeping up once again like they did on the first point. And second squad sees an opportunity to get closer because they're in cover by the houses. And the first squad decides to make a jump on this AA gun with the suppressing fire, Shift S, and end up knocking it out. I don't know why that guy charged at it, but he did a good job. Suppressing the point is all these guys on the right. I don't know if that attack by first squad would have been successful if they weren't being suppressed by everybody on the right. All those guys in those sandbags getting suppressed, so they couldn't fire on first squad. Everybody's just rushing the point now. See an enemy, I tell them to stop with F. Out of nowhere, a flamethrower appears. Luckily, we make short work of him, as he realistically could have taken out that entire squad as they're just clumped together. So that is that. Point taken. I can micro the squads really easily because I've assigned them to those numbers, so I can just press 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I had like 3, 4 squads pushing that point at once, all attacking it from a different direction, working together. That's that. managed to salvage the 4.7 centimeters. I think that was a success. I'm not really bothered about the kills and deaths and ratio of this series. Because I'm playing as the USSR, I'm going to lose a lot, and because I'm using cheap, weak infantry, you know, I'm going to take losses, and that's fine. It's more about winning the battles and positioning my units that I'm going to go for. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be making more of these. Never really played as the Soviet, so hopefully this was a nice introduction if you haven't either. I'll see you in the next one.